Yes, I know my hair. Good grief. Yes, Friday I get my hair cut. It's taken me 6 months to get an appointment.
Experimentally.
Hello there, YouTube. I hope you all are having a blessed day. We are here to make another project. This one is going to be called Spinning Roads, and I'm not sure if it's her design or if she found it elsewhere, but please go over to Suze's channel, Revelation Quilts. She is the lady I got this pattern from. She did it in solids. And I have this lovely batik charm pack, white and black for the corners. All right, so we are going to use at least one charm pack. She only used one charm pack and it made a very small wall quilt. It was about like 34 by 34. And I would like at least a baby quilt size, so I added some of my own batiks to this. I cut them down into 5-inch squares. And these have pinked edges and they are actually shy. That is an issue. Let's see. Move it around. These are barely 5 tip to tip. They're going to be cut down into strips. So we're going to whack off these pinked edges because they're annoying. And charm pack squares are 5-inch square. Zip off these pinked edges. About 1/8 of an inch I'm cutting off. Okay. So we're going to take these 5-inch squares and we are going to cut them into 1.5-inch strips. We will get 3 strips out of each piece. That was 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, 3.
We have a large pile of brightly colored batiks, and they are 1.5-inch strips. And I'm going on roughly 160 squares. You need 2 of white and 2 of black for each block. So you need at least 120 black, 120 white. So these squares are 2.5-inch squares, and we're going to use these to snowball onto the blocks that we make out of these strips. Suze threw these in a big bag and she shook it up really good because she wanted a completely random selection. So I'm just gonna willy-nilly grab out of the pile. And this is my very old Bernina 180E. My 770 is in the shop for service. Okay, so we're going to take our strips and we're going to sew them together using a 1/4 inch seam. Oh, yes. Oh, this machine's not automated. Oh, here's Mr. Dinky. Hi, Mr. Dinky. So I'm going to use a leader and an ender. Now it should just go right in there like that. We are going to finger press this. And these are batiks, so they finger press really nicely. All right, here is our first block. Here is our block all done. You're going to want to measure this length from here to here. And then you're going to cut the longer side to match the shorter side. Okay, so let's start this over. I am able to square up my blocks to 4.5 inches. So you are going to take all of these strips and sew them together randomly, and you're going to trim them all down to 4.5-inch squares. You're going to split up your pile in 2, and you're going to have one of them piles with the horizontal strips. The other pile is going to be vertical. We're going to be doing snowballing, and we're going to be putting the white squares in the upper left and lower right. We're going to be putting the black squares in the upper right and lower left. Okay, and then we're going to be sewing diagonal to diagonal. All of the white squares will go in the upper left and the lower right, all of them. So when you switch to the pile that has these vertical, you're still going to put these in the same location, upper left, lower right. And that will give a twisting effect when you put the quilt together, and you will get black and white corners. So you'll have white triangles down here. And let me do these for you. And like this. And the only difference is you're going to put them together vertical, horizontal, etc. Okay, so that's the way it's going to work. I will sew together another strip set and I will trim it down and it'll go vertical, and then I will show you how we're going to be putting the snowballs on. This old machine is still a fantastic machine, but the 1/4 inch foot doesn't quite meet with the feed dogs. So you need to use a leader and an ender. For an older machine that doesn't have a thread cutter on it, it will save thread and it will save you the hassle of having the machine eat the very edge. Okay, so now this is being caught by the feed dogs in the back of the machine here. And you see the feed dogs back here. Let's see, a hole back here where there's rear feed dogs. And those are the only feed dogs that are catching the foot. Okay, so now we're going to finger press. Now, if you are more comfortable with some kind of marking, you can press these to get your diagonal line. You can use a pencil or a chalk marker or a pen erases away with heat, whatever you like. I'm using 1/4 inch tape here on the machine bed. Okay, and now this 1/4 inch seam tape is just cheap washi tape. You can get it on Amazon, but the red line is in line with your needle, and then this is exactly 1/4 inch. So long as you keep this point on the red line, you are good to go. Oh, and there's no thread cutter on this machine. How will I survive? So that's the first corner. Now we're going to do the black ones, and they're going to go up here. I gotta tell you, this white dress shirt material I like better than this Kona cotton. It is really nice. Go to your thrift store. Get you some men's dress shirts.
Susan went out and spent some anxiety money on a lovely present for herself.
All right, so that is the first one. And now we're going to do it this way. But the white and the black snowballs will go in the same position. So this is what we're going for. With that said, I'm going to start sewing together all these strip sets. And you will notice that there has been a machine change. I went through my old Bernina. The feed dogs just were not working. So I pulled out my white featherweight, and that thing was so stiff it felt like it was rusted in place. So my husband took it apart and did a good clean and a good oil, and it looks a lot better now. It does need a new belt. And this one here is my Singer. This is my Centennial. This was made in 1951. Got this in Paducah, Kentucky when I went to the AQS show 20 some years ago. So I have found doing this process that I had a lot of misstarts, and I had to pull out pieces and put them back in again because they were crooked or they didn't cover my corners. So I found that it was much more efficient of me to lay the square down here, fold it back so I know it's covering the corner, and then giving it a bit of a finger press, and then move over here to the sewing machine. And even now, I am making sure that the needle is coming down, about a needle's width to the right of the fold line. And I have the little seam tape here, and I'm making sure that the fold line is just to the left of this red line. A small stack left to go. Everything else here has been trimmed back. So I will have to do that with this, and then I'll give everything a good press, and we will go to the design wall. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, or I should say in an hour, will be Thanksgiving. We don't do much for Thanksgiving. What? Yes, except give thanks. I do that every day. Don't go anywhere. I don't really do much. And neither one of us eat much, so we just don't cook anything fancy. Hubby made a big pot of chicken and dumplings, I think last night. And boy, that's good. So we'll have more chicken and dumplings tomorrow. Ah! Well, that wasn't very nice. Oh joy, I have no idea what was recorded and what was not. But I got all of these sewn. I gave you handy dandy tips. Let you watch the last one come over the finish line. I talked to you about me and Sanjay and Thanksgiving. So no clue whether or not you heard any of that. So this is my handy dandy little cutter for chain piecing. You can use old rotary blades in it. So if you have a rotary blade that you take out of your rotary cutter, what you can do is you can put it in this thing for a while, and then you can use it until it stops cutting. And it has multiple spots for you to use on it, and it fits in this case, which has a strong magnet in it, so it stays closed. And it does save a lot of time. I didn't think it would, but it does. So as I was saying, which didn't get recorded, this is my 1951 featherweight, a centennial edition. And I have my mother's, which is, I believe, from the 40s. I also have a white one, or, whoops, as we like to say, elusive green, because it does look green in some lights. So what I do is, as you can see, I sew to the right of the fold line. I'd rather have an abundance of fabric over here than not enough. So I give it a good fold, and then I just trim it down to about 1/4 of an inch. And I thought about saving these, but by the time you square them up, they're going to be real tiny. And if you can make something out of them, you're a better seamstress than me. Say they're pretty wonky, so by the time you square them up, they're going to be maybe about 1 inch big. Hello there, YouTube. Here is our finished set of blocks. I have 4 more. Apparently I did not make enough blocks to make a baby quilt. So this project is not finished. It's very colorful. I love the movement. And I think I'd like to explore maybe making this in larger strip sets, larger blocks. This 4.5 inch is kind of small, and I'm not sure how it's going to end up looking. So I think a larger block would be easier to work with. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little video, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please do remember to hit that subscribe button, please, and ring the ding-a-ling, 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 and hit like and leave a comment below so I know you were here. Please also share my videos with your friends and on your social media. I want to thank you all so much for coming along with me on this project, and I will see you right back here on 70 Acre Studio with our next project. God bless.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy.